I am nervous.
Opa!
This looks pretty okay.
You need to talk nicely about me, you know that.
No, we're gonna be honest.
Do you appreciate that I'm emotional?
Love it. It's my boyfriend. Oh, is he?
Looking at you while you're on the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready for that heartbreak?
Dneska je první den v měsíci, je 1. dubna, takže tady je další díl otevřeně a hodně jste se mě na Instagramu ptali na vztah na dálku. Tenhle díl bude takový speciální, protože jsem si říkala, že by vůbec nebylo špatný, kdyby mi k tomu něco řekl i můj přítel. A proto bude tenhle díl v angličtině s českýma titulkama, protože v češtině bychom si moc nepopovídali, viď?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tim is my boyfriend. I think we should introduce ourselves a little bit. So,
Okay.
we're together for almost 3 years
Yeah.
now, and since January I moved to Denmark. But before that, that means that we had the long distance relationship for like 2.5 years, or maybe more.
Yeah. I was living in Denmark in Silkeborg, and you were living in Prague. So it was a long time where we didn't really see each other as often as we wanted to. So and it definitely came with different challenges.
A lot of Instagram followers were asking me about the long distance relationship and what was like the hardest part, and also how did we survive the 2.5 years together. So I think that maybe we can, because we're very different personalities, I think that's the biggest challenge in our case as well.
Yeah, and I think understanding that we are different and that we deal with issues differently, I think that was maybe the key in the start, because I mean I didn't need to like FaceTime every day, and but I mean I noticed quite early that you wanted to be in contact a little bit more frequently, you know, WhatsApp messages, FaceTiming, so that you could feel that you actually were in a relationship. So I was, I mean, my communication was not maybe the best in the beginning, but I think it improved.
Yeah, I think that like the big difference between us two is that I can't really be alone. I mean, I always needed attention, and I was always in a relationship basically because I was so used to have someone by my side, and then I met you, and that was like a biggest challenge for me because you are so used to be just by yourself, and you're like reading the books, and you're fine with being just alone. And then of course, like when we wanted to, or when I wanted you to text me all the time or call me, it was natural for you.
Yeah, I mean, I actually enjoy my alone time in a way that you don't, because you want things to happen. You're very social, very active, and when I come home from work, it's not that important for me to you know, be around people or talk to people. I'm actually quite happy just reading a book or watching a film or something. So we're, you know, in that area we're very different.
I made a test at the beginning of our relationship that you didn't know about, and I wanted to see, like, because I was always the one who was trying to reach you, like with texts and, you know, calls and hi, hello, and you weren't that active at the beginning. So I was like, okay, let's see how long he can stay without a contact with me. And I told you a few days ago how long it was.
How long was it?
It was 4 days.
4 days.
4 days.
That's long.
It was the beginning of the relationship, maybe 4 months together, and you 4 days didn't text me, like comment on Instagram, you didn't call me, you just was fine with your books.
That's my bad. That was a fail, and I don't know what I was doing, but I was enjoying my free time. But of course, I should have texted you. I should have, you know, let you know that I was okay, and let you know that I wanted to know how you were doing and what you were doing in Prague. But yeah, that was a test I didn't pass.
But it was funny because then you called something like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like,
so I did call you
after
eventually.
4 days.
Yeah, but I still called.
I mean, I was so angry, and you had no idea why.
Yeah, but that's I think that's you know, a relationship in a nutshell, that when you are mad or when you women are mad, we usually don't know why.
Yeah, then you ask. For example, for me, I don't need to call every day, but I like these small, you know, just a reminder that you still think of me. So for example, we don't need to call every day, the FaceTime call, but if you tag me on an Insta picture because we were scrolling and you think of me, like the feeling that you are thinking of me as well is actually making me feel that, okay, I'm a part of your life.
Yeah, and I think just like a picture or a small short message or something, I think that makes you feel that you're actually still in the relationship and that we're together, and you know, maybe calms you down in a bit. So yeah, I think I learned that actually quite quick, that I need to be a little bit more proactive, calling you a little bit more, writing you messages, and making sure that this long distance thing is not too hard.
But you said that, actually we talked about it yesterday, that for you it was hard at the beginning because you didn't like the feeling that I'm giving up, that I could give up on the relationship, because there was like, I had these parts, you know, so that if I wasn't really happy, I had a lot of work and we didn't really be in a contact with each other, I had these moments when I was just like, I can't do this because it was too hard for me, I was missing you too much, it was so painful, I was having troubles with the job obviously as well, and then I just felt that I'm alone in here and I don't want to do this, I leave. But I mean, I never really said it loud.
No, but I mean, maybe it was a combination of things, but I didn't like that you were almost, you know, threatening to like, you know, leave me or break up or something. I didn't, because for me stability is very important, and I felt that you were really, you know, emotional in the beginning, and if you had a bad day at work, for example, that you could come home and say, okay, I don't want to do this. But yeah, I mean, it definitely became better. I don't know why, but maybe you also felt that, okay, this man is actually pretty good, and you wanna spend more time with him. Maybe.
Do you think it get better? Because you said it yesterday that you think that it's better lately. I mean, obviously it's better now when I'm living here, but what is the difference, or how? Because I don't see it that much.
Maybe just you decided that, okay, this person is the one I want to spend my life with. In the beginning, maybe I was a little bit, you know, I was still on trial. It was a test period, you know. You want to see if I'm good enough or not.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
But you were really, you know, every time when if we had like a FaceTime call or something, you were you know, maybe you had a bad day at work and you were very emotional and you just felt like giving up, you know, because you missed me so much. And I miss you as well, but I felt it was really tough for me to when I couldn't really help you. I mean, you can say what you want on FaceTime, but it's not just the same thing when you're in the same room and you can actually be there for the other person. So that was tough for me because I couldn't really do anything about the situation. I couldn't travel to Prague to be with you because yeah, my work is what it is. So. It was a little bit out of my hands, and I felt tough when I couldn't really help you as much as I would have liked.
I think I know the reason why it changed a little bit, or why I was so unhappy at the beginning. Not unhappy, but I had these moments. I think that it was because I was still repeating that I need some act of yours to be sure that, because you know, for example, like we were two people and I was giving, like, I felt that I'm giving a lot to the relationship, like traveling and I was canceling jobs and I was not that professional what concerns it, because I needed to change these events and dates because to fit up to your schedule as well, and that made me very stressed. And I still was hoping for some action, you know, and I didn't like that. For example, when I asked you like, should I move or when should I move, you didn't want to decide it, or you didn't want to say like that. So I felt that I'm doing a lot for the relationship. I'm putting like 110%, and maybe I am the one who is on the trial, and that didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
But you know, so that I think I mean, I told you, I think if you would just propose, that would be perfect. Because I was still waiting for some action or for something that you would show me that I'm the woman of your life. Because still, I was risking too much for someone who I never lived with and who maybe is not. I didn't know if you're that interested.
Yeah, I mean, you were sacrificing a lot. I mean, until now, you were always the one who had to take time off from work to be able to travel to Denmark and see me. I mean, I couldn't do that the same way. I don't think you really understood it in the beginning that football is not really maybe the same type of work as others. We can't just, you know, miss training like that and go to Prague. And you thought that why can't you do that? Why can't you come to Prague? And that was really tough because first of all, you're not from this environment. You don't really know what the rules are and what's accepted or not. So that's definitely been a long process, and we're still not there, I think.
We're not there. I'm trying so hard.
But yeah, I mean, I hope. I mean, yeah, you wanted to see an act from my side, and I felt that maybe, you know, I've tried to support you in different ways, and I think it was just after a few weeks I asked you if you wanted to you know, officially be together. So that was also an act.
It was so romantic. He came to Prague and he asked me if I want to be his girlfriend. It was so nice, honey. It was. No, but I think that the difference also is that that for you is important the words, what you say. So for example, you didn't do any act, but you told me that you want to spend the rest of your life with me, that we are going to buy a flat in Prague. So you were giving me this information to ensure me that this is a real deal. But I'm different. Like, for me, the words can be, I'm changing my words often. So if you tell me something, it's also possible that maybe we won't live in Prague and maybe it's just a sentence, and I really wanted to prove with action, which I didn't get. So what are the pluses and the minuses of long distance relationship for Team Sparv?
Well, I mean, the challenges are definitely, you know, that your lack of intimacy, you know, you can't really support each other the way you want to. It's difficult that way. I think some of the positive sides would be maybe that you have time for your personal interests, you have time for your friends, you have time for your, you know, studies, hobbies, whatever. And maybe the part that you actually start to miss each other a little bit more, and look forward to the day when you see each other again.
Again, that was different from me, because the longer we didn't see each other, the more I was independent. So we didn't meet in this case. The longer we didn't see each other, you were missing me and you wanted to meet. And the longer it took for me, the more I was so used to that I'm without you, that it was harder for me to get back and to reconnect again.
Yeah, it was always, you know, after you've been apart for a week or 2 weeks or a month even, you know, you always maybe expect the time together to be, you know, special or something. Especially if you only have like 4 or 5 days together, you want to do so much, and you want it to be perfect. You want it to be romantic, and sometimes, you know, expectations don't really mean that it's going to be like that. So I think that was also, you know, trying to balance your expectations in a way that made it more realistic in the start, because, you know, when you came for your visit, you wanted to do stuff, and I still had my work, and I came home and I was a little bit tired, and, you know, it didn't really go the way we wanted to. But I think it's so much better now when you know, you live here and you have no pressure to do everything, you know, in a couple of days, but you can just, you know, relax and enjoy each other's company without the added pressure.
Yeah, I think that was really hard. So we were able to see each other, for example, 1 week a month. It was very much changing, and it was depending on my work or so. So you have, just imagine that you're having the whole month, and these 3 weeks you're looking forward to these 5 or 6 days, and actually it's like the day after his work. So it's just such a little amount of hours that you really want to squeeze in, and you so much wish that it will be perfect, and then any little trouble there occurs is a big deal, because it's then the whole month is like, wow, I was waiting for something that is not happening. But I know that you are still repeating it, that there shouldn't be that much of the expectations, but I think it's easier to say than to realize. But also you have been experienced from your previous relationship, you also had the 1 year long distance, right? So maybe you...
I think that this is quite natural, actually. I think anyone who's been in a long distance relationship knows what we're talking about some of the challenges that we're facing. And especially if you only see each other for a week every month, and you live in different countries, you know that you know the expectations of making everything perfect when you actually see each other. I think that's very that could lead to trouble. So you should always you know, just enjoy each other's company without having to do too much. I think that should be enough.
Oh, and the thing that was also hard was that we never knew when we will see each other again.
Yeah, I think that if you live in the same country and you're working from Monday to Friday, and you know that you can see each other every weekend, I think that makes it a lot easier. But you know, for you and for me, you know, with the works that we have, it was really hard to actually organize a week when you could come here. Because, you know, maybe I was out of town or somewhere else, and you had your work, so it was really hard to get the timing right, and that made it hard. I think that was a challenge, to not knowing when you'll see each other again.
Yeah, because any time that we were leaving and say goodbye, we planned when I come back, but it was so often changed that it was postponed a few days later or weeks later, or it was just a mess. And for me it was, but you know about it, it was very hard, because I have my job, which, like, my clients always need to have dates before, like, for example, 1 month ahead, and I was waiting for your schedule, and these clients were, or my work was unhappy because they needed the dates to set up the team and so on, and I was still like, I would love to, but I need to wait for Tim, otherwise because that would mean that, for example, because of just one job, we would not be able to see each other for 2 months, for example, because of one simple bad plan of the time. So that was just crazy. That I got like a lot of negative input, and that was hard. Like, I was traveling a lot, and I don't like traveling, and also I had like bad feelings about it.
And I mean, I didn't feel good either when I knew that you were trying to you know, organize your work schedule, and you were always the one that would have to come to Denmark if we wanted to see each other. I mean, I used some of my time during my vacation and vacations in the summer and winter to come to Prague, but I mean, during the season it was basically impossible for me to come to Prague. So that was really putting some pressure on my shoulders as well to deal with that part, because again, you didn't really realize that I can't really just take time from work in the same way, and that made it a little bit harder.
The plus for me in the long distance relationship was that because you spend so much of your energy on the relationship already, so even if you're together for just 1 year or 2 years, you already spend like tons of energy, and you were really trying the hard way to make it work, that then you don't really want to give up afterwards, because you already invested so much that even if there is like troubles, we really want to figure it out, because we've been through so much of issues also. Yeah, we were. I was.
Yeah, but I think I was always saying that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
No,
And you
no,
hated this.
No, you know
And
what you said?
I was repeating it for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. One day we'll live together and it will all be alright. But you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So this was actually making you, you know, annoyed when I said it.
That was me who said that I don't see the light at the tunnel. You know what you said? Oh, hang in there. Hang in there. And there was a sentence that made me like kill myself. Yeah. Yeah, there's also the difference between us because you were all thinking about the relationship in the long perspective.
I mean, we're gonna be together for 60 years. This is a very small part of our relationship.
Isn't he so sweet? Oh. Yeah, and I'm living from one day to another. So for me, if we suffer now, it's like I don't want to do this anymore. And you were still like, easy, so we don't live together for these 2 years, but we will spend the rest of our lives. And I was like, I maybe will not be here if we will not live together now. And also the second positive thing that I found on the long distance relationship is that as I was very dependent on my relationships, you taught me the hard way how to survive without any or without being alone. So I had my friends, I had like a boyfriend, but you were far, so I was still living my life and I needed to learn that part, so I think that was useful as well.
Yeah, I think it's actually healthy to be alone a little bit sometimes, reflect and do something that you enjoy. But we're definitely different in this case. I mean, you're very active and you have like this social life that I don't really need the same way. So it's about finding a balance. I mean, I'm actually really happy and satisfied if I can just, you know, stay home all day. But for you, you just go crazy if you don't meet any people. So that's actually quite fun. We can laugh about it today.
Yeah, true. So I think what would be our what's it called?
Advice?
Yeah, what will be our advice in the long distance? You start.
I think, I mean, it sounds a little bit boring, but communication is probably a key if you wanted to succeed, because long distance relationship is just very hard and it takes a lot of time and effort to make it work. So try and communicate with your partners as much as possible and try to be there for each other, even if it's just through social media or something else.
You said that to communicate as much as you can, but I don't think that this is our case. Communication we have now wouldn't be enough for me before we met, but I needed to learn that, okay, Tim is really trying hard because he really doesn't need it, and I appreciate it and I take it as a nice gesture, even if it's maybe not enough for me or wouldn't be enough. So I needed to get used to it, and also you needed to get used to it that you need to communicate a bit more, but of course we can't fulfill each other's needs because we're very different in this.
It's all about compromising, huh?
So my advice, I think, would be to try to work. I mean, I did try to work a lot on my understanding the other person. So yeah, taking as a fact that it will never be perfect and try to just be happy with the way that it is right now. And as I see here in my notes, you were also asking about jealousness. What did you say?
Yeah, I mean, when you don't see the other person every day, I think there might be some jealousness creeping in for some people. I'm personally not the jealous type of guy. I don't know. You're not a jealous person either, are you?
You don't give me any reason why. I am a bit jealous normally. I was jealous once, I remember, and it was in a cafe in Aarhus. We were in the cafe. I never told you. We were in a cafe, and I was behind you and you were ordering a coffee. And you both guys, you were so nice to each other that I was like, I'm still standing here.
Oh my god, I can't even remember this.
Yeah, I do. That was the only time when I was jealous.
That's just being actually friendly and
It was too friendly.
talkative with another person. I mean, what's...
We're not that friendly with barista.
Well, yeah.
To sum this up, I think it's very important to have always the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that can make you go through all of the unhappy parts. So if you know that, okay, we will move together in 3 years, it's something that you could look forward to and you can plan. If you don't know anything, what is happening, that's really hard. Then the communication, and then trying to be happy and enjoying the time that you have for yourself. Because afterwards, when you live together, you just spend all of your free time together.
So enjoy your free time. Those of you who are in a long distance relationship. Because in a minute it will look like this.
You're screwed.
Good.